Is this a Kevin upload that didn't take 3 months to come out? Yes. See, I'm a changed man. I wear quarter zips now. I drink matchas now. I'm elegant. Facts. Classy. Facts. Sophisticated. I would never make y'all wait that long. Matter of fact, brother Noah, let them know how the quarter zip changed your life.
You know, last week, I was in the hood. I was broke. I didn't think I was gonna ever make it out. But then I put on my quarter zip and my life changed, bruh.
Facts.
I'm a whole different man now. I ain't sipping on that lean no more, nah. I'm sipping on that matcha.
The earth juice.
Asking for a girl's Insta? Hell nah. What's your LinkedIn? I'm trying to make a connection. Type shit. We ain't rocking no Nike takes no more neither. Straight quarter zips from here on out.
Facts. And to celebrate the quarter zip movement, we're watching Scissor 7. I mentioned in the last vid I was waiting for season 5, and for me right now, it's November 12th. Watching this the day it released, I was serious. So in season 4, last thing we seen of 7 was him trying to regain his memories. And to do so, his first mission being infiltrating whatever that is in the sky, I don't know. But he gets inside. Of course his booby trapped, right? So he figures out how to stop the lasers. But immediately after, he now has to solve a sliding block puzzle, which by the way, I hate these shits, bro. Y'all ever play that one mobile game? You gotta slide that red block into the opening. Yeah, he had to do that while poison gas was coming in. Now he does solve it. Barely, but now he's in the next room. And this puzzle was how the games usually do it. You know, the luring a monster into breaking something for you, that whole thing. But now he sees what he came here for. That door. And I don't know if y'all recognize this bridge, but this is the same bridge where he got slimed out on. Now, of course, we didn't expect to be able to just walk over. We got a box to make it across. But the thing with boxing, that's usually a back and forth exchange. This guy was fucking us up, and honestly, I expect nothing less. You just can't appear with a fit like that and be trash. And shout out to Cheap for the buff, because it was looking bad out there. But he tells us there's only so much he can do. This is a fight that you have to win. Though he realizes his scissors have no effect, so he said, I bet, I got a plan for that. They clash and then just took the sword for himself. He did that so gracefully too. There was no aggression behind that grab. So he lands the stab. Cheap comes through for that extra boost, and we see the figure telling him to forget about his past. You have a chance at starting a new life, but if you accept it, be ready to be swallowed by the endless darkness. And that was just his final warning, telling him this is his last chance to turn back. But he didn't come all this way for nothing. He walked straight to that door, opened it, seeing his old self. And y'all know how I feel when anime does that, talk but we can't hear shit. Like, bro, just show me what he said. But he then comes back to reality. That whole sequence was an inner mind thing. Grabs his sword and starts walking nowhere. Like he did this in real time. They got on his head about it too, because where are you going? But I'm sure whatever his old self said is going to be important later, because at the moment 7 is exactly the same. He doesn't remember a single thing about his past except for how to use his sword, and once he tried, he got some flashbacks. So Doctor came to the conclusion that yes, you technically regained your memory, but it's been locked up for so long that you have to reopen the box. See, that's the long way of saying it's only episode 2. We're not giving him the shit this early. Yo, bro, we whooped that boy's ass. Hold on, check this out. I'm putting that shit on the gram, nigga. But right after, a ship comes down. And it's always funny to me how people run away when stuff like this happens. Cause bro, they landed already. They seen you. I know they're not riding inside that shit pitch black. And those are the stands too, by the way. The futuristic technology people. If DBZ space pods can have a window, I know for a fact they have some hologram windshield in that bitch. But they're here, if you remember. The stands take super powered kids from this island back to their island to experiment on, and Cheap is a troll. He started hitting the Adam dance on him. But this proves what I said earlier. They already knew the superpower girl was hiding over there, so he just grabbed her. And you see how 7 is still standing there, just watch. So this kid comes through because he's tired of them taking away his people, so he creates this giant spike, which if that shit worked, you would have killed the girl too, but and 7 finally decided to move when it can up his aura points. But once he saw that logo, all of these people are your enemies. They must die. And he took that to heart. Chop dude's arm off. Hold on. And 7 was about to end that man. Cheap had to step in and said, "Alright bro, calm down. It's not that serious. All of them must die." Now we're seeing the first problem with getting his memories back. Going back to his old ways. In the millisecond they got a chance, they hop back in that ship. I thought they were gonna fly away, but nah, they locked on and fired. And y'all know when the hair's out, the lion's mane, he ain't here to joke around. And low-key, I'm glad he's acting like this right now, cause that sword is broken. The old 7 doesn't know how to put that to use. Now, what I wasn't expecting was him to start fighting Cheap, and if I had to choose, I'm putting my money on Cheap every time. He rushes in, blocks his sword with a bare forearm, grabs the wrist, 7 blocks the right. Get off me. Look how he dodges the sword. Within the same motion, kicks the back of his head. His foot not even all the way in that sandal. Turns around, punches the sword, they clash, I think. Kicks him away, he runs back in. Cheap pulls out a dragon claw, grips the blade, but don't forget, this ain't no normal sword. Let's go ahead and deconstruct real quick. Got the first hit. Maybe I put my money on the wrong guy. I take that back. This dude threw out a kick and the sandal is what did damage. What? And then peep this. He goes, yeah, I can do split attacks too. We looked up and see a falling sandal. The man jumps back into said sandal, kicks him across the map, and I don't even know what to call this technique. The sandals got a mind of their own. The only thing hitting 7 right now are those sandals. And that junk is extremely effective. Done knocked the sword out of his hand, but don't forget, he can control that shit like Mjolnir. To me, my blade. And look how he deconstructed the blade for no reason. He could have just called over the entire thing. This goes into my point from earlier. This version of 7 has been gone for so long, he knew his aura was depleted. Gotta build that back up. That's why he just did all of that for no reason. And I can't do nothing but respect it. This is an extraordinary display of aura cultivation. And it truly only gets better from here, because Cheap blocks his attack. 7 deconstructs the blade. Cheap redirects the pieces, sending it back at 7, and at this point y'all are just throwing each other lobs. This is not a fight, they're both just going for clips. And one thing I love about the show is that even though it's goofy, it has substance to the goofiness. Like, he stopped the blade with his toes at the same time, telling him, and I quote, "You have all that power. What is it for?" Like, he's deadass trying to teach him. And just like that is over. And apparently that sword is called the Blade of Malevolent Spirit. And every time he uses it, it consumes his chi. Hence why he collapsed a second ago. And now he can only use it for a minute each fight. And if he uses it more than 5 times, he dies. Apparently. And before he left, Cheap gave him this bag and said, "If your back is to the wall, open it and take a look. It might just help you out." Like, nigga, just tell me what's in the bag. Why everything gotta be a surprise? But you know it's not Scissor 7 without some side quests. Y'all remember when that one assassin pulled up and raised havoc? He even whooped Stan's ass. Then Red Tooth appeared and the episode just ended, and we never seen what happened after either. Season 4 came out in 2023. I'd be heated if I watched that when it dropped. But now we finally see what happened that day. If you remember, Red Tooth has a demon inside him who is trying to take over his body, but Red Tooth peeped that and was like, "Yo, what are you doing? This is not how things work. Matter of fact, get out of me." Pause. Then White Fox, the assassin we was talking about, destroys his essence, I guess, then proceeds to get jumped by some hairstylists, and yeah, I'd be mad too. Niggas looking like that, talking shit, I'd be heated. And that's when Stan pulls up, and I say this every time. Stan is one of the coldest characters. His platoon pulled up doing who knows what to this man. Also, deploying hundreds of troops while having his henchmen fix his coat up. And he took him as a trophy. And who the fuck is this? He came through, took the demon and left. Anyway, since all of that was taken care of, Red Tooth decided to fill in for Granny Chairman, and they done gentrified my boy, put him in a suit, slicked his hair back, and yeah, I guess this is his life now. So we cut back to 7 while they're traveling on Swordback, and Birdman must have just got his hands on a new blick, cause at the slightest inconvenience of this dog man not wanting to switch spots, he pulled that shit out immediately, was ready to take a life over a seat. 7 is now least of our concerns. Birdman needs to be watched. But while they were on this trip, this guy happened to get on. Now, he did help us the last time we saw him. He fought that one guy with the bad fit, but we also found out that 7 was the one who killed his master, so he stood up and told him, "Hey, let's duel. Right here, right now on his flying sword. Let's fight to the death." And then we found out he got rage baited. Fighting 7 wasn't a decision he made on his own. The dude told him, "Hey, you know he killed your master, right? Why are you fighting me? You should hate that guy. I actually recommend recommend that you leave me alone and go get your revenge. Pussy.
Oh my god.
And that was the icing on the cake. He had no choice but to give in. He used the forbidden word. So he dodges all these attacks, blocks the knee, and I can already see it now. Maybe one day we'll get that Scissor 7 fighting game. This is a perfect stage. And even after almost dying, this man still wants to box, which I guess that's the point of fighting to the death.
What the fuck?
Hey, yo. Legs wrapped around the waist, maintaining eye contact.
Fire for that.
Nah, reset the battle. This is not an optimal spot. So he runs back in, 7 deflects his attack, and I gotta know, is this thumbs up technique real? Where you counter stabbing their underarms? Now, I'm guessing it's not, but you never know. I had to ask. But 7 then got a flashback of Ponytail's master, telling him exactly how to counter his technique. I don't know why he did that. I guess we'll find out later, but apparently all you have to do is not attack. So now it's a battle of who can tickle the other person the most. Then we cut back to when he was talking to this guy, and we find out Ponytail's master actually got in the way of an assassination. He helped the person the Killer League was after escape, and you know what's crazy? This dude straight up told him directly to his face, yeah, your master, he's a bitch. I broke all his bones in his body. He's not like that. And you would think the guy who's out for revenge would hear that and be like, oh, you did all that? Yeah, I gotta beat your ass now. Because at that point, 7 was the one who put him out of his misery. He wasn't the one who snapped every bone in his body. But they got back to fighting, and he wasn't throwing out thumbs no more. He was throwing out straight haymakers, followed up with a knee to the face, causing him to crash into another sword. And imagine this happening to you. Imagine being background props. Most importantly, imagine being this guy. Wasn't even thrown at the threat. The nigga just threw him at a mountain. I'd be heated. At least let me change the tide of battle. Don't just throw me because you can. But turns out he was actually aiming them at the branches. He was actually saving them. So after seeing that, Ponytail said, wow, you know, maybe I misjudged you. So they pieced it up and went on their merry way. But after causing a sword crash, I doubt they're gonna let you back on. So yeah, they got banned. And now they're stuck walking, but they do come across this inn. And the goal of this trip, if I didn't say it earlier, is to find 13. The last time we saw her, Green Phoenix sent her on a trip to find the one who can teach her the most powerful skill of their sword style. And 7 is asking around to see if anyone spotted her, and even if they did, they probably want to tell us because she has a wanted poster. But not only her, we do too. Now, good thing we had a Sharpie on hand. Could have ended bad. Then he overhears these guys talking about going to the Plum Blossom Mountain Villa, which is where 13 is from. And for some reason, they started talking crazy about her. And fellas, as an advocate of the quarter zips, this is exactly what you do when people talk crazy about your girl. Throw fine wine in their face and don't worry, we wear quarter zips now. We can afford it. Now, if they're still talking crazy, you know, I don't really condone this one, not really QZ behavior. But if you look at the bottom of your shoe and got a little something there, go ahead and add some flavor to their drink. Now, if you're really about the QZ lifestyle, don't do this. It's not elegant.
What else?
Not classy, not demure. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, he accidentally wiped the Sharpie off his face and everyone peeped he was on one of the wanted poster. Now, we did get some help from the guy in the back who sang a song putting everyone in a music video. Shout out to him, and he actually offered us a ride, which we should have refused. A wagon strapped to a turtle dog hamster thing. What is that? Whatever it is, we be better off walking. Not only are we going 2 miles an hour, but the guy is serenading us with nonsense. Have you ever had to suffer through your friends singing over a song for 10 minutes and no matter how many times you tell them to stop, they won't stop? That's exactly what 7 is going through right now. So after a long trip, I can only assume, they made it to the Plum Blossom Mountain, opened the doors, and we see Steve holding that man in a 7-day lock while the old man is holding 11, aka 13's sister. So they then tell us how they got here in the first place. 11 came here to take something of hers back. Steve is just her +1. They walk in, see the old man, she ignores him, continues walking toward the building, so he sent a rock at her dome piece. Now Steve is on his bodyguard duties, you're not gonna touch her. She looks at him, looked back, and kept walking. Now the animation of the show is ridiculous. They go all out for every fight. And look at the team combo. She goes in, he stays out. He goes in, she comes around, and I love when they play with the angles. But she goes into the sky, sends down an airstrike, he deflects him. Immediate attention to Steve, deflects the next barrage, slides under the swing, he gets blocked, so does the punch. Fuck out of here, boy. 11 comes flying in, he threw the broom, then proceeded to kick Steve back first into the pillar, but he wasn't going out out like that. Weave, the no-look block, spin move, dodging a kick, double blocked by Steve, but old man twists the arm around, staying a young man's place. But peep the excellent chemistry, she grabbed him and threw him right back to action. Though old folks in anime can never be underestimated. He threw the broom into the sky, missed, and she thought that was an opening, but it was far from it. Broom came right back down, landing directly on her spine. And Steve, knowing he couldn't beat him, he put him in a 7-day lock. And old man couldn't just let Eleven walk free, so he tied her up. And with this specific spell, if you get trapped in it, you can't use any force. It just stops you from doing anything. So Seven tries to, use his scissors, immediately gets trapped. Birdman also got trapped, so I guess they sat here for a few days until finally someone walked through those doors. The master of this place came back, but not only that, but before we get to the reunion, we gotta see how she pulled up. So Green Phoenix told her to meet someone who can teach her that secret technique, and that someone just happened to be her own father. Now, of course, he wasn't just gonna let you hide within the trees, you want to see him about it. So she accepts the challenge. The fit immediately gets disintegrated. Comes from behind, and yeah, anyone with white hair, just leave him alone. This guy, Phoenix, the Shadow Killer's leader, and I would hate to go full force with a sword at someone, for them to jump back, putting their finger on the blade just to show us he can. He did that just to flex. And then he proceeds to not only dodge everything, but grabs a stick and broke her mask with it. So it's finally time to attempt that powerful technique. Now mind you, Phoenix only had time to give her a crash course. He couldn't go into full detail. She has the basics down, but not enough to do damage to this guy. I mean, she cut the stick if that counts for something. Anyways. Yo, 13. It's good.
Is this a friend of yours?
He is not.
I've fought through a lot of shit, and I've done a lot of shit, but I'll tell you this, one thing I would never do is get fucked over by some girl I was just trying to love. I'm a good dude, you get that? And I don't deserve to be treated like this.
Well, ain't that some shit? But it's time for the training arc. Everyone loves a good training arc. Now, Master Plum told her to pierce a hole into the stone. So she proceeds to destroy the thing. I already knew she did that wrong. So he steps up and did exactly what I was thinking. He said pierce, not obliterate. Though right after he got news that assassins were outside trying to get the bounty on 13's head. So she decided to leave. Wrote a letter saying these are her problems, so she'll deal with them. She'll be back to challenge him. And right when she masked up, she gets attacked. Set the house on fire and all, but didn't know she was hiding on that weapon. Leg locked and cut the neck. That's one down. Unsheaths the sword we're dual wielding. And she is getting jumped. They're not respecting the ones. Still standing her ground though. She evades every attack. Let the blade go. Kick the right in bro's chest. Drop kicked his ass too. And I like how she's not easily wiping them out. Shows she still needs to grow. And cutting the mask off only made this scene that much harder. Look. That's a wallpaper. And then it fades to black. I know we're never gonna see how that fight ends either. I know how y'all move now, you ain't gonna catch me. Next time we see her, she probably gonna be ore farming or some shit. But what we see now is the leader of the Shadow Killers activating another robot assassin because Phoenix bodied the other one. But the fact that he's even here means he won that fight against Phoenix. He tells us that he's locked up in some valley, but Phoenix wasn't his only worry. The fact that his disciple, the fact that 13 is still out there makes him uneasy, and that's how it should be. Respect Big 13. But he wants them to use Phoenix as a trap to lure her in. Now from previous events, obviously I need some help, so welcome our new recruit, number 9. And this is exactly who I've been waiting for. I seen the clips and he was like, nah, I don't need him with me. I can go by myself. And shorty, I don't know why you laughing. Had to let him know real quick. Anyways, we cut back to 7 and they threw us in jail.
Wow.
Why? I don't know. We came here with a gift basket and they still threw us in here. So of using that sword, we was able to cut the ropes, but apparently that old man just likes sitting in the dark. But when he cut off his hair tie, I swear everyone in the show is Dr. Doofenshmirtz. The second his hair came down, Perry the Platypus, like you couldn't tell that was 7 the whole time. But obviously they crossed paths before. The old man actually isn't an old man. His prime was like 2 years ago.
What?
He was known as the best trap setter. He has never failed a mission. until 7 came along. And since he lost, I guess out of fear, he got plastic surgery on his face, somehow changed his entire body structure, all for no reason, by the way. Nigga did that on his own accord. You know when people do stupid shit like you ain't never do a backflip before, why you trying to do a backflip now? That's him. Dumbass. No one told you to do that. But he actually recreated that exact scenario just so he can figure out what went wrong. And since 7 is here, they might as well rematch. And I doubt you're surprised, but it played out the exact same way it did back then. Now, continuing our journey to find 13 again, we overheard people talking about where Phoenix was locked up, so we knew where she was heading. On the way though, we came across his gravesite, where we happened to run into this guy. They fought in the last season, and what he said after finally put all the puzzle pieces together. He asked if he remembered when they met here 2 years ago. He was also trying to save a girl then too, and that's when it all started coming back. Xuan Wu, a nation built on martial arts, terrified that technology would replace everything, so they made Stern their sworn enemy, started the assassination training program that turned out to work extremely well. It created the most perfect assassin, unrivaled by the world. But with each mission, he began developing his own ideas, even began disobeying the leader. Obviously, the leader wasn't happy and knew he couldn't let a rogue assassin be let free. But how do you kill what can't be killed? Through their heart. No matter how tough you are, there's always something or someone that you hold close, and in his case, it was a girl. So the leader trapped her inside the Divine Beast Tower, knowing the only way to save her would be to slay the beast, but in doing so, would make him an enemy of the nation. He did not care. Took the beast down, and everyone that pulled up took them down too, with a girl in his arms, by the way. But after doing all that, she slimed him out. The girl has been arranged from the very beginning. Meeting 7, getting close, all of it was a part of the plan. All he was a tool, an assassin made to protect the nation and disposed of after, making way for someone to take his place. And he was full on ready to fight 7 right there and now. But he refused. He accepted his old self, saying, "My past may speak of who I was, but it has no say on who I am today. The past may remember me one way, but the present knows me as someone new." Hold on, one more. "The self I carried before is a memory. The self I carry now is alive." But 7 said this is a chance for him to start a new life. He noticed the knife the girl used wasn't coated with a lethal poison. All it did was make him lose his memory, so she must have wanted him to forget this life, forget all his problems, and live for something good. Next thing we see is 13 arriving at this place where Phoenix should be at. And I'm loving this vigilante arc. Like, she's barely said a word this whole time. Just straight action. These little grunts pulled up, jumped in the air, threw the spear down, and stood on it. The next wave comes in, sliced the first one, jumped off the spear, kneed the second, still in the air, cuts the third, grabs the spear, drifts to the other side, took his ass out, knocking him down one by one. They actually ended up destroying the raft, but no problem because you're gonna give us a ride. Kicks off and on the way down, slashes the rest. And you know she gotta hit that landing. And that's when we see Phoenix. Got him locked up like Tai Lung, but of course, it was a trap. We knew that already. That wasn't the real Phoenix. But then I realized why 13 wasn't talking.
Why?
Because she's a man. 7 was actually cosplaying as her. Now the grunts are no problem. Redhead, he can handle her too. But she isn't his opponent today. He finally gets to fight his so-called replacement. The cape covering his sight, he stabs through, or so we thought. The guy threw it, blitzes behind and slashes the back, and made sure to put the drip back on. Yo, I kinda fuck with this guy. Not only is he faster, he's also stronger. And the second he seen the type of sword 7 was using, he said, hold on, I kinda wanna try that. Blitzed in front of him, knocks the sword out of his hand. Get your ass back. Let me show you how to use this shit for real. The man took your sword and started giving you lessons. And you know when a character's laid out like that, they're either dead or about to get a boost. And obviously it was the boost. And really all he did was realize he doesn't have to be the old 7 to be this unrivaled beast everyone keeps claiming he is. There should be multiple ways to solve a puzzle, and in this case, it's in the title. Let's go ahead and use them scissors. Get ready. Weave, duck and roll, and my goodness. Look at the animation. They upped it even more from the last season. one thing that does it for me is the angles. When they switch it up like this, sensational. And it's about time we took our sword back. He thought it was an opening, but he sheathes the blade, making my shit back, bitch. Matter of fact, hold this for me. Got that nose leaking. Had to take his cape off, he was getting riled up. Now the special thing about his sword is that it's extremely sharp. You can't just block it, you gotta deflect. And he actually disarmed him once again, yo 7, lock in. Grabs the hand, to me my blade. But not only that, shout out to Cheap for teaching us this technique. We got split attacks too. Then he sends out the scissors, but turns out it wasn't actually his scissors, it was his blade.
I learned this move from you.
9 still ends up blocking the attack, even dodges the follow-up, and 7 was like, damn, you're good, but I'm better. The whole time he was charging up his scissors to the point where it was even sharper than his blade. You can never replace the original. But of course, that wouldn't be enough to defeat him. Really? The difference between him and 7 is that 7 has a heart. That man is a pure demon. And now that he's like this, the other assassin had to step in and close them all inside the mountain. And this is when we see the actual 13 show up, and the leader himself made sure to pull up on her too. Like, bro, this is your second time doing this. You shouldn't be allowed to leave your den. The boss should stay in the boss arena. And you know what they do? Fade to black. Are you serious? They love ending on these cliffhangers. But yeah, that's season 5. I really like the direction they're going with it. Went from goofy with a side of story to story with a side of goofy, and I fuck with that. Hopefully we get season 6 soon. And I would also like to give a huge thanks to the Scissor 17 for hooking me up with some merch. Now, I know I was talking about the quarter zips a lot and I love the QZs, but a nigga like me prefers a jacket. Looking real elegant, real classy, real sophisticated. Ladies, hit up my LinkedIn. Let's build something. But nah, I actually wasn't expecting this though. I made that first vid for fun, so you know it feels nice that they reached out, said they liked the vids and wanted to send something over. It's a nice change of pace. Usually I gotta worry about niggas striking my shit down, but they actually show love. Scissor 7 will always have a special place in my heart. Now as far as to what they sent me, of course we had to get 7 sword. That was a guarantee. Also an umbrella, and y'all know they say about opening umbrellas indoors. I did it just a little bit though. Yeah, I lied. I opened the whole shit. Never mind. I don't know what I was talking about. But my personal favorite though is the figure. I ain't really have anywhere to put it, so at the moment it's chilling on top of my shelf. And if you want to pick up any merch for yourself, head over to ahamind.com. Get yourself a little something. But once again, Scissor 7, thank y'all. And if y'all ever need a random voice for a background character, you know, season 6, I got you. You got my number, emails. You got my email. But yeah.